I want to say welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a late night breaking news coming to you. Um, I wanted to just record this here without having an audience. So I'm recording this here in private and I'm going to post it for you all to, in your own spare time, or whatever's convenient for you to go ahead and tune in to this breaking news, um, late night breaking news. Okay. But this late night breaking news, I want to say it involves a decision that was handed down by the United States Circuit Court of Appeal, not the United States Supreme Court, but the United States Circuit Court of Appeal. Okay, that's what I want to talk about. The decision that they gave um, involves where the question was put before this circuit court. It's in St. Louis. We part of that circuit, the United States Circuit Court of Appeal for the Eighth Circuit, I believe. And I think it's Arkansas, Missouri, North Dakota, South Dakota, uh, Minnesota. Um, Did I say Iowa? It may Idaho. It may be a few others, of course, but that's is the circuit that we part of in St. Louis. It's the United States Circuit Court of Appeal for the Eighth District. Okay, many of you know yesterday or day before uh, or 2 days ago, excuse me, a decision came down uh, that involves a case where Arkansas governor and I guess her staff or what have you. Let me put it up there. I think I had it up here. The lawsuit was against Governor uh, uh, Huckabee Sanders. The United States Court of Appeal for the Eighth Circuit Court, the Arkansas NAACP state conference, that is. They brought this lawsuit. Also, there were two other advocacy groups. Uh, what's that? Arkansas Public Policy Panel, uh, and who else was it? Arkansas Board of Appointment, uh, and Governor Sanders Huckabee. Well, those are the defendants. Okay, so the NAACP, I imagine, was the leading plaintiff in this case. Arkansas State NAACP. They brought this lawsuit. This lawsuit involves uh, a congressional map that was drawn. This is a map that they do every 10 years because of the census. Every 10 years, they have to draw a new map. And upon drawing that new map, Arkansas is said to be, I think, 16% of the population in Arkansas. And they wanted to have more than 10 districts uh, that was drawn uh, where it would give people of color, black folks, it would give them an opportunity to elect a preferred candidate of their choice. Of course, there was a lot of back and forth in terms of, uh, argument on the floor of the steakhouse. And so it led to a lawsuit. And so the lawsuit itself uh, was held in the Arkansas Circuit Court, I believe, which they lost that case. And it might have been Arkansas Federal State District Court. They lost that case and they appealed it to the Arkansas, not the Arkansas, the United States uh, Circuit Court of Appeal, Eighth District, Eighth Circuit. I'm just messing up. It's late, y'all. But but that's what we're going to be talking about. This is a very important case. Many of you all, especially you young folks, you may not think that this case involves you. It does. because uh, not only were bridges built for you young folks, making your life a whole lot pleasant today, because of voting rights, is why you have the the right to go to whatever school you choose to go to, give you a right to work on uh, various jobs, buying a home without redlining. How sometimes they want to draw a line. Certain folks of a certain race live here and other folks live somewhere else. Blah blah blah. But the Voting Right Act is the bedrock of pulling black folks up to where we are today. And so everyone have a dog in this fight. Uh, Even some white candidates, if they are from a particular party, in this particular case, Democrats, uh, they got a dog in this fight. Because the reason I say that is because there's a thing called, and I've been talking about it, gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is this is a praxis, if you will, of drawing district boundary lines to favor one particular party over another. Okay, whether you're a Democratic Party, if the Democrats are in power, and now it have went back and forth, this gerrymander now, I will say that. Uh, but if the Democrats are in party or in power, excuse me, in other words, they control the stake house or the stake senate, then uh, they are in power to draw the lines that will somewhat favor their party, and vice versa. If the Republicans are in control of both chambers or what have you, then they are in control of drawing these maps that will be more favorable to them. And so it's been going back and forth. But gerrymandering is nothing but what I call an unfair, may not be illegal, but it's a unfair practice that is used to favor one particular candidate over another particular candidate, or to favor one particular party, that you be Democrat, over another particular party, the Republicans. Okay. Now, how do they do this? All right. Two ways that they do this, which that is what the NAACP is alleging in this lawsuit. And I'm trying to educate you a little bit as we go. One of the ways that they do that is through a practice of what is called packing. Okay. When I say packing, I mean packing voters. Okay. Packing voters. That's what I'm talking about. Packing is putting as many of the opposing party supporters, talking about the voters, into a few districts as possible. Uh, that's what packing is. Now, I think this lawsuit alleged that in certain black districts, when you speak of packing, let's just say you have three uh, black districts, okay, in terms of voting power, where you have an opportunity to elect a candidate of your choice out of those particular districts. I think the lawsuit alleged that there were three districts that uh, that that Governor Sanders signed off with the Republican Party, who is in control of the State House. She signed off on a map that took three black majority districts and they turned them into two. Okay, there were three black districts, they turned them into two. In other words, they diluted the vote. Now, instead of uh, the uh, black voting power or district, that is, instead of them yet having an opportunity to elect three uh, candidates of their preferred choice, it's been diluted or reduced it down to two. So the lawsuit alleged that. And of course, there's some other things, of course. But this case went all the way up to the United States uh, Federal Court, the Eighth Circuit in St. Louis, Missouri. And it was a three-judge panel. It wasn't a full court. It was a three-judge panel that heard that case, which the decision came down. It wasn't unanimous. It came down 2-1 in favor of Governor Sanders and her administration. Okay. Now I'm just gonna. I think I put that up there. Packing was one of the illegal, well, not illegal, but unfair practices that they use. Packing, as I said, that's where they took 3 districts and they shrinked it to 2. Now, all the other voters that are left, that's where they come up with another unfair practice called cracking. Cracking is stated the remaining voters are spread throughout the districts to dilute the voting power of the opposite party. Okay, so if I am a candidate and I was part of a majority black voting district to where the voting power was strong. So now all of my supporters is going to be fragmented, in a way of explaining. In other words, they're going to be bits and pieces, spreading them throughout the other districts. There's 100 uh, uh, representatives, I believe, 100 representatives at the state house, the state capitol. And out of those 100 districts, only 11 districts, I believe. I have the report. I'll go back and read it. I think it's a 30-page report, which I have in my hand. This is the lawsuit that was filed by the NAACP and 2 other advocacy groups. And I will say that the NAACP, I have to commend them for taking action. I normally say that the NAACP is always caught up in voting rights, but I think now I realize why the NAACP really push voting rights every single year, because as I stated, that is the bedrock of where we used to be to where we are today. All right, we did everything that we did. We had to fight for it through the means voting at the voting box. Some have sacrificed their lives. Some have been beaten. Some have been displaced because loss of jobs, etc. And so the black population have really struggled coming up through Jim Crow, what have you, before slavery. I mean, after slavery, excuse me. We still, although they said that we was free, we always like to celebrate Juneteenth, that we free, if you will. But are you really free when you yet have to encounter racial discrimination? And it's just sad that now it's in the polls. Okay, so that's the other practice, crackling. The remainder of voters are spread throughout the district to dilute the voting power of the opposite party. Okay, now that is that. Now, what I was going to talk about that I lost my this kind of tie into what I meant to talk about Sunday. I want to talk about PAC groups. PAC stand for Political Action Committee. What these PACs do, I know you don't heard of super PACs. We got nothing like that here. The super PACs, that's where you get all those millionaires and billionaires to where they pump money into a particular party for a particular reason. Okay, let's just say that they can't give it to the candidates. So what they do, the billionaires, that is, not these other PACs, but the billionaire, the super PACs. They can't give it directly to the candidate. So what they do, they come up with certain groups or what have you. For example, we have a group here in Blytheville. Let me put it up here. Uh, uh, where's that group at? We have a group here in Blytheville, and they call themselves, uh, I think, Citizens for, what was it? Citizens for Stronger Mississippi County, I think what it was. I know I had it up here. Citizen for a stronger Mississippi County. Oh, here you go. Yeah, this is a group right here. It's called Citizen for a Stronger Mississippi County. Even that statement is somewhat misleading because, for example, we had a tax back here that was supposedly or did raise money to reconstruct or reconstruct or refurbish, that is, the two old outdated courthouses. And I think that money also was supposedly to take care of both old Asian hospitals, not just the two Asian courthouses. Okay, and so sometimes the money may not be shared equally, if I can say that word, because nothing is shared equally. But Osceola may have feel like they came up with the short end, which if you look at the courthouses, you look at Blytheville Courthouse, and you look at Osceola Courthouse. I would say Blytheville get the better end of that deal. All right. And so there's so many other compare and contrast in terms of tax dollars for the county. But that is a group. I think they're still in existence. And what these groups do, they pretty much do just what the super PACs do. They uh, are created for an intended purpose. One, either to get a candidate of their preferred choice elected, or sometimes these groups, as I stated about the tax with the courthouses and hospitals, whatever, they will also, come together for that purpose. I think with this group here, with the hospitals and the jail, it was like, I think it was two issues, ordinance, what was it, ordinance 1, 2, or something like that. One was to reconstruct, refurbish the courthouses, and then there was another ordinance to refinance the work that is to be done. I don't need to tell you that passed. And so these PAC groups, they do serve a significant purpose, for why they're in place or why they was created. Okay. Now, we're moving on. We're not going to hold you long. Another thing that I want to talk about, which was, I also want to play a video for you too about that lawsuit with the NAACP. And so while I'm looking for this information, let me go ahead and play this lawsuit for you right now and let you all go ahead and see or hear exactly what happened with the NAACP lawsuit against Governor Huckabee Sanders in her administration. So let's go ahead and play that now, okay? Let me bring it up now. Okay. Here we go. We're there now.
First, it was Alabama. Surprise Supreme Court win for Black voters. Soon it was also Georgia. And then it was Louisiana, too. All states where major court decisions.
Yeah, let me start that from the beginning.
First, it was Alabama. Surprise Supreme Court win for Black voters. Soon it was also Georgia. And then it was Louisiana, too. All states where major court decisions called for the drawing of new congressional maps that would give Black voters a chance at fair representation after Republican legislators drew up districts that deliberately locked Black voters out of any reasonable chance of electing the legislators of their choice. These were all states where voters and voting rights groups were able to sue to get fair representation for Black voters, and they were able to win. They won surprising, meaningful, consequential victories for Black voters, thanks to the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The cases appeared to open a path toward undoing racially discriminatory congressional maps of the past, state by state, one by one. Until now, until today. Today, a panel of 3 federal judges, all appointed by Republicans, issued a decision in a case that was brought by the Arkansas chapter of the NAACP. It challenges the fairness of congressional maps there. And these judges in the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, they ruled that private citizens, private entities, private groups can't bring these cases anymore. Can't bring the kind of cases that we have seen succeed in Alabama and Georgia and Louisiana and other states. The judges ruled that entities, private entities, can't bring those kinds of cases. Actually, the only entity that can bring that kind of a case is the United States Attorney General. And if you can't get the United States Attorney General to bring a case like this on your behalf, then what happens in your state? And what happens to the cases that have been decided already? What happens to other states where voters want to challenge a racially discriminatory gerrymander of the congressional maps? How long before this case gets to the United States Supreme Court, and what's going to happen when it gets there?
Well, all right. That's pretty much all of that. Let me get rid of that. That's pretty much all of that I want to show you all. But again, as you heard, that's what laid the basis for why the lawsuit was brought by the NAACP and others. And I just want to read you all something. As it stated, did Congress give individuals and civil rights advocates the ability to sue under Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act? Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, it has been used in past times by individuals, civil rights groups, and so now I guess Arkansas trying to follow the, we like a monkey see, monkey do state. What Arkansas does is anytime it's neighboring states that is part of what we know to be the Confederacy, that you're talking Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, of course, which that case was overturned by the United States Supreme Court, where they presented or voted for a gerrymandered map as well, to where that case was challenged in the United States. Well, not challenged, but that case was challenged in court, to where it went up to the United States Supreme Court, and the United States Supreme Court voted 5-4 in favor of the plaintiff, who stated that the map, in fact, was a gerrymandered map. The map was specifically for political reasons, to where it gave more favorable chance, if you will, to not just Republican candidates being elected, but it diluted the vote so to where it somewhat isolated or prevented a Black candidate from being elected to office. Okay. And so that was that. All right. Now, there's also something that I want to read in here. It's I think I read this to you. I'm reading from the document now. It say the advocacy group used basic statistics to back up their claim. They point to the fact that approximately 16% of Arkansas population is Black, yet the expectation is that only 11% of their preferred candidates will win. The disparity, they say, show that Arkansas created some hyper concentrated black districts through packing and then cracked it, as I explained that to you earlier. The remaining black voters to give them minimum impact, although the groups do not allege intentional discrimination. They seek an injunction preventing state officials from using the new map it's because of its discriminatory effects. Allen versus Milligan. I think that was the case that they heard in Alabama. Don't quote me on it, but I'm thinking Allen versus Milligan. Allen, Allen versus Milligan. Milligan. Look that case up. I think that's the Alabama case, to where uh, it rejected the map that was approved or voted in by the Alabama state legislators. Okay. Now, I'm gonna skip around. I'm not gonna read you all of this here. I'm just gonna skip around and read you uh, some more of this lawsuit here. Uh, but there was some things that I jabbed down. It said it is unclear whether Section 2 creates an individual right. Statutes only create private rights when the text is phrased in terms of person's benefit. Okay, what it's saying is that this case is that uh, Section 2 intent. This is what the Republican Party is saying. Section 2 was not designed for individuals to bring uh, an action against the Arkansas state legislators. Uh, they say that that right is specifically left with the United States Attorney General. After the United States Attorney General in this lawsuit here in Arkansas, after I think they had 5 days, I guess, to involve themselves and join or whatever on this lawsuit. After the United States Attorney General, DOJ, Department of Justice, after they decided that they wasn't going to get involved with Arkansas case and Arkansas state government, the case was dismissed. And so that's what led it going up to the United States Circuit Court of Appeal. Okay. I want to read something else. I'm getting ready to close, y'all. There was something else that I jabbed down that I wanted to read. I'm going to come back, of course, and I'm going to read more of this here to you all. But I just wanted to say this here is that we're going to have to get our act together. That means churches is really going to have to come together. I understand that, just like I was telling you about this one group called Citizens for a Stronger Mississippi County. We have what is called, I think it's a Minister Alliance, Black Minister Alliance. We need to come together to organize in a way to where we're going to be prepared to fight against a lot of these discriminatory legislation, if you will, that is passed up in Little Rock. We're going to have to really come together. We have the Black Minister Alliance groups here in Mississippi County. I'm pretty sure we have our fraternity or sorority groups. Whichever one you are a member of, you need to come together. Any civil right organizations, NAACP, which we don't have one. I guess we have to work with the nearest one, which is Jonesboro. And so hopefully there will be someone from Mississippi County that will reach out to Jonesboro or West Memphis, or even toward the Northeast Arkansas end, Little Rock, Fort Smith, and Arkadelphia, asking them for help as well. But it's going to take everyone coming together in a concerted effort to try to fight back on a lot of these discriminatory uh, bills that our Arkansas state legislators, they're trying to turn back the time. You know, that's right. They're trying to put you back in the box. And I think you all know what I'm talking about. That real uh, uh, miserable era of Jim Crow. Okay, I don't think any of us uh, want to go back there. In fact, I think if you got any kind of fight in you, you will not go back. I mean, that's a statement that you will stand on, that you will not go back. Okay, and so it's unity time. It's time to come together, put up your hang-ups, uh, and come together to work together for the good of the community. I don't know how long I've been on, but I'm getting ready to shut this down. I just wanted to bring you that news that the United States Federal Court for the Eighth Circuit in St. Louis, Missouri, they have a weakened voting right, the Voting Right Act, Section 2, um, against those who bring a lawsuit challenging discriminatory uh, practices by uh, our Arkansas state legislators. Okay, and so please, please, please do involve yourself in some way, if you will, to try to make sure that we preserve the Voting Right Act of 1964, 65, 65, I believe. Started out 64, and I think there was something amendment to it or whatever. But I will say that Section 5, remember Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, uh, up under this court, where they gutted it. That uh, I think that was in regards to, I want to say, Article 4, to where uh, you had to get a pre-claim. Those states like Alabama, Mississippi, known for its Jim Crow and legislation passing laws that was election laws that was unfair to a particular race of people. In this particular case, we're talking about black folks, and so uh, uh, that is gone. They took away that. They say we don't need that now. Our election process now is better, and so we don't need for those states to be monitored or to ask for permission before they can enact new voting right laws. And so Section 5 gone. Now they're working on Section 2, which saying that you as an individual or a civil right group do not have the right, you don't have jurisdiction to even bring a case to be heard. That right is left with the United States Attorney General. In other words, DOJ, Department of Justice. Department of Justice are claiming that they don't get involved with a lot of these cases for the simple fact they don't have the resources to follow many of these cases in terms of collecting the data or what have you. And so they rely on complaints that are being made like you, I, and civil rights groups, okay? And so, but it is what it is. And so hopefully we'll get our act together. I don't have anything else that I need to bring, but I do want to mention something that there's a gentleman in Osceola. His name is Albert Beasley Jr. He and a committee are in the process of trying to build a memorial monument for 4 black boys who drowned in Osceola. I think this was back in, I want to say 1964. I think I was just a toddler, and so I have no memory of that. But of course, 2 of these 4 black boys, 2 of them was my cousins. Okay. They were my cousins. They drowned along with two other boys. And their names were Lawrence Peak. He was 12 years old. He was one of the black boys that drowned. The other one was Michael Tate. He also was 12 years old. He drowned. And of course, my two nephews who are brothers. Okay, two brothers died. Those were I say nephew, my cousins, excuse me. I told you all this late. But Charles Robinson, he was 12 years old, one of my cousins. And the other one, 13-year-old, Scotty Robinson. And so I commend Mr. Beasley and his committee for what they're doing down in Osceola, uh, trying to pull this project off in honor of building some memorial uh, site, if you will, for these four young boys who lost their life through the means of drowning. Okay, and so that's that. I also want to say that Governor Sanders, you know, we had this thing to where I think we had I think our Sheriff Cook, I think he participated. I don't know where they had that. I don't know whether it was here in Mississippi County or whether it was down on the northeast end of the state. Uh, but the conversation come up, or one of the talking points that is, was building more prisons. In other words, expanding the beds. As you can see, I think this was back in, I want to say March of 2023 of this year, March or April, somewhere in there, where Governor Sanders proposed it $470 million for 3,000 new prison beds. Okay. You know, when will we understand? We keep watching this movie over and over again, and nothing is registered on our brain in a sense that no matter how many beds you build, it will not solve your problem in terms of incarceration, which only leave me with the thought, is this just one way where we monetizing the prison system, you know, giving out these $1 million contracts? Uh, uh, in some cases, I think it's fair to say that we have state officials that are acquainted with some of these contractors who are going to be billing these prison beds. In fact, may be related to them. Okay. And so there's so much corruption that is going on. But that $470 million, we need to understand that it's like putting holes in the pockets. Okay, we want to build 3,000 beds this year. So what do we do the next 2-3 years down the road? We're going to build another 3,000. It's not work. We need to find other ways of trying to reduce the prison population. And building new prisons, it only do one thing: add more taxation to taxpayers. That's all it's going to do. It's not going to solve the problem in terms of incarceration. It's not going to do anything for its crime. You know, we brought back the death penalty, hoping that the death penalty would be a deterrent. It's not. We even got young kids that's not scared of the death penalty. Anytime they can pick up a assault rifle and go into the schools and start just ripping students, poor little baby bodies apart. So do the death penalty really work? Is it a deterrent? No. Okay. No more than building more beds is going to be the answer for trying to decrease the prison population. It will not do nothing. Okay. It will not do nothing but more money, on the taxpayers and giving those buddy friends, relatives, kin folks, kinship and friendship, as I call it, giving them an opportunity to make millions. You know, uh, that's about the only thing this going to do. And so, the biggest losers are going to be the taxpayers. I got one more thing that I want to say in terms of the Arkansas Department of Education. The Arkansas Department of Education, y'all, look at this right here. On June the 6th, 2022, I'm just not hearing about this here, I'm late. But June the 6th, 2022, all right, Arkansas Department of Correction was ordered by a judge, okay, to return $2.5 million to inmates to pay what? Fines, fees, costs, and restitution. You hear me? This was money that was given by the federal government to the Department of Corrections. This was during the pandemic, I believe, when they gave out all the different money. They had people in jail that who was not high risk, low felonies, that is. But, we have that thing to where before we release an inmate, all fine, fee, costs, and restitution must be paid. Well, there was millions of dollars given for that. Okay. But our Department of Education, I imagine they get their orders from Governor Sanders, what have you. But then again, it might have been the governor that was before her. Can't call this now. Is it Hutchinson, I believe, Governor Hutchinson. But between those two, $2.5 million was ordered to be returned. This money was specifically earmarked to pay the inmates fine, fee, costs, and restitution. They didn't do it. They didn't do it. $2.5 million had to be returned. Okay. And here we are. How do we trust them with trying to do something to improve the prison population when they can't even use the money that has already been appropriated to help send some folks home by paying their fine, fee, costs, and restitution? Okay. Then again, I don't know if they went home and they just kept the money. I will say for whatever money that they did pay, I think that the court is asking for them to provide whatever money that they did pay in regards to fine, fee, costs, or restitution. They're going to have to show that. Corruption. Was there anything else that I had to show over here? I think y'all were getting ready to shut it down, but I did want to come talk to you about that breaking news on the court, where the black vote continued to be under attack. In fact, the whole Voting Rights Act, it's almost to the point to where it's going to be a thing of the past. You hear me? The Voting Rights Act, they're on track for making the Voting Rights Act a thing of the past. All right. But I don't think I have any more. But like I say, please do read up on this group that we have here, this political PAC group that we have here in the county, Citizen for a Stronger Mississippi County. Are they really, were they really created for that intended purpose? Or was it just for Blythe? Okay, because the people from Blythe actually is over this particular PAC. They're from Blythe, okay? At least the person, what do you call it? The person who, I guess, considered to be the, I don't know what that title is, but chairperson or the lead person of this group, but let's just say that. But it's in this person's name. I don't know if it's a male or female. I forget reading. But this is a PAC that is in place, and for one specific reason, which is to elect a particular candidate of their choice, whether it's from the Democratic Party or whether it's from the Republican Party, or to either help pass a particular uh, issue that's on the ballot, either to help support it to where uh, it is approved, the vote is approved, or in some cases, it may be a vote that they're working against, trying to defeat. That's what these political PACs uh, are created for. All right. I don't know one political PAC that we have. When I say we, I'm talking about the Black church, because we're talking about voting rights now. You know, I don't know one political PAC that I can go to tomorrow and say, what's the plan fighting back on this discriminatory ruling by the court in St. Louis, Missouri, where they continue to weaken the vote, black vote that is, trying to completely gut the civil right voting act. What can we do? There's nothing. There's no relief file that we can go to come together, to unite together for a common purpose. In this particular case, we're talking about voting. There's nothing, nowhere I can turn to get people to come to the table to say, let's unite and let's work on this thing. There's nothing. That's why we are treated the way we're treated, because there is nothing that we can go to for relief. Nothing. Okay? So that's all I have, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you all uh, uh, are tuning in now. As I said, this was a recording because it was late. It was like 11 o'clock when I started. What time is it now? Almost 12. Almost 12 o'clock now. And so please do involve yourself in trying to preserve what's left of the Voting Right Act. Please get involved. Churches, sororities, fraternities, just people in general, come together and let's do something to preserve the Voting Right Act. Okay, so that's all I have. I don't think there's nothing else over here that I need to put up. I'm going through it right now. So for those of you that are tuning in, this was breaking news to where we was talking about the decision that was handed down by the United States Circuit Court of Appeal for the 8th District. Okay, that's what we were talking about. All right, and I was trying to put it up here to give you a just to go ahead and say, here we go. It says the United States Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit, Arkansas NAACP plaintiff who brought this complaint, okay, that filed this legal action, and Arkansas Public Policy Panel versus Arkansas Board of Appointment, Governor Sanders Huckabee. They mentioned a few other administrators, legislators. I know Tom Cotton, his name was mentioned as well. Okay. And so that's what this breaking news was about. The federal court ruled against the NAACP, saying that they had no right to bring a individual cause of action. There was no action. At first, they didn't have jurisdiction. That jurisdiction lies with the United States Attorney General, Department of Justice, to bring a lawsuit as it relates to Section 2 of the Voting Right Act. Okay, so that's all I have, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this was like late night breaking news, and hopefully, I hope we have said something to enlighten you on what is going on with the Voting Right Act at the hands of our Arkansas state legislators, and our governor. Okay. And we will be coming back to talk more about the Arkansas 10% bail bond. Uh, we're talking about just as it relates to 10%. Those bail bonds must be paid 100%. No more pay plans. $10,000 bond, you get to bring a whole $1,000 to the door. Can't bring 200, you can't bring 300, you have to bring the whole $1,000 to the door. Okay? So there's no more pay plans. We're going to be talking more about that to try to see what alternatives that one can take if they don't have the whole full 10%. Because I tell you, this is going to leave some backlash to where our county jails is going to be filled to where they budget already been passed. So where they going to get the money from? Trying to run a overfilled, overcrowded county jail. Where are they going to get the money from? Budget already been set, already been passed. Where are they going to get this money from? Governor Sanders is not going to give you no money because right now she's trying to get them 3,000 beds built with the money that she got. Okay. And that money they tried to keep, that $2.5 million to pay them uh, fees and costs and restitution. And so, but anyway, that's all I have, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that, again, I said something to enlighten you on what is going on with the Voting Right Act here in Arkansas. Uh, they did prevail. When I say they, the governor and her administration against the NAACP and the advocacy groups who brought this lawsuit. Okay, so this lawsuit will go to the United States Supreme Court, and I really do believe, just like in the case of Alabama, okay, to where the court said that they had a discriminatory map, Alabama, and the court, United States Supreme Court, that is, the United States Supreme Court voted 5-4 against the map of Alabama. So they have to have a redo in drawing that map. And I have no doubt that the same thing is going to occur here in Arkansas. You know, our state, monkey see, monkey do, copycat, monkey see, monkey do. We look at our neighboring Confederate states who passing all these extreme laws against people, and many cases people of color, and they feel comfortable with it, think that they can get away with it. And so hopefully when this case is heard, they're saying that it may not be heard sometime next year before the election. And so hopefully a decision will come in to where the court will rule in favor of doing what's right, which is cracking, gerrymandering, that is, packing, all of those unfair, discriminatory practices need to cease and be did away with, giving every voter the opportunity, whether you white, black, Republican, Democrat, rich, poor, whatever your zip code is, giving you an opportunity to go to the polls to elect a preferred candidate of your choice. That's all I have, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to say, you all do come back and catch me. I want to say I may be out of town this particular week, but I'm gonna try to get back by Saturday. Uh, okay, Saturday morning, Saturday morning when I'm gonna try to get back. So hopefully I'll be prepared to do my show for Monday. New time, Monday, 6 o'clock p.m. unless that time change. But I will start broadcasting on Mondays. I'm doing away with the Sundays. I don't have but like about 2 more shows for this particular year, year 4, and I'm shutting down. Okay, will not come back up until the month of March, with the exception of coming up in February, doing something as it relates to Black History Month. So peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. God bless. And I want to say, may you all have a remaining blessed night. God bless.